The movie begins with a background voice giving orders to soldiers. The scene shows an elite multinational team composed of soldiers from different countries preparing for their mission against the Black Mask organization. Among the team is Daniel, who is trying to locate his fellow soldiers. He calls out to them, receiving scattered responses. Amidst the chaotic communication, Daniel attempts to contact Commander Briscoe, but is met with static over the radio. Daniel hears his name being called by an anonymous person. Daniel taunts him, challenging the guy to face him. Gunshots ring out from Danny's gun, shooting the man, and the situation becomes increasingly dire. The anonymous guy continues to provoke Daniel, asserting that Daniel's mission has failed and his team is dead. He encourages Daniel to take the shot and end it all. Daniel woke up from this nightmare gasping. James and Ralph visit Daniel, who is struggling to get up from his bed. James asks how Daniel is doing, to which Daniel replies that he feels terrible, can't sleep, and is stuck in bed for a few more days due to an infection in his hand. They also discuss Daniel's leg injury, noting that while the knife wound was serious, it isn't too critical. The soldiers gather for a briefing led by Commander Briscoe. He presents photos recovered from their recent rescue mission, highlighting unique tunnel walls in each image. The analysts are working to determine the origin of these tunnels by cross-referencing them with a database back home, and they expect to identify the region soon. However, the mood remains tense as Commander Briscoe points out that they still do not know the terrorists' next move. He turns to Daniel for insights. Daniel explains that the terrorists are manufacturing compact dirty bombs, which are more powerful than standard ones. Meanwhile, a man is conversing with their supreme leader, who confirms that he has decided on a list of targets. The subordinate acknowledges the order, and the supreme leader emphasizes the urgency, instructing that everything must be ready within 36 hours. The man proclaims that a new world will be born. Mariano checks on Daniel's wounds. Mariano asks how Daniel is feeling, to which Daniel responds that he's not bad, and mentions he went to the shooting range, which felt good. Mariano examines the wounds and notes that they are healing nicely, but advises giving it another day due to the previous serious infection. Commander Briscoe gathers the soldiers for a quick briefing. He informs them that they are having trouble determining which of 3 possible locations is their target and that time is running out. To cover more ground efficiently, they decide to split into teams. Galena, Ralph, and Shu are assigned to one team, while James and Jacques form another. Daniel volunteers to stay back and assist Briscoe directly, a decision Briscoe supports. The soldiers split into their assigned teams and set off in their vehicles toward different destinations. One team, consisting of Galena, Ralph, and Shu, reaches a remote desert campsite. As they approach, a man speaks to them in Arabic, telling them to leave, but they don't understand him. Galena attempts to defuse the situation, reassuring the man that they will only look around briefly. They enter one of the tents, but find nothing of significance. Ralph instructs Galena and Shu to leave, and they start walking back to their car. Once they are all in the vehicle, they drive away from the campsite. Meanwhile, James and Jacques, at another location, realize they might be lost. They decide to move from their current spot and return to their car, reassessing their approach to find the correct target location. All the soldiers went back to the base frustrated that they didn't find anything useful. Briscoe told them one destination is left, and that could be it. The terrorists discussed their final plans. The supreme leader and his subordinate express confidence that their efforts are coming to fruition and that the West will finally see their resolve. They reflect on 16 years of war, emphasizing the foolishness of expecting the enemy to surrender. The leader reaffirms that their mission will enable the local people to reclaim their lands and that no military force can stop them now. The soldiers reach the final destination, with Galena confirming it's the place they've been searching for. As they approach, they notice tents, and James reports that they're nearing the tunnel and are going dark. Ralph notes the exit up ahead and the various items scattered around, urging caution as they move out. The soldiers proceed with heightened alertness, sensing that something isn't right. The area appears deserted, leading to concerns that they might have missed the enemy. Ralph expresses doubt, noting that the location doesn't align with what Daniel described about the sarin gas, the terrorist army, and their plans. The soldiers cautiously approach one of the tents and discover a computer inside. Upon opening it, they find a video recording from the supreme leader. In the video, he denounces the soldiers and their cause, declaring that the war is far from over. He speaks of the ongoing battle and challenges them to consider which side they are on. He emphasizes the historical and cultural significance of the land they are fighting over, criticizing the invaders for treating it with disrespect. He asserts that their time has come and they will rise to reclaim their lands. Galena begins to examine the computer. She suddenly notices something hidden hidden beneath the table. Realizing it is an explosive device, she alerts the others. The soldiers quickly scramble to escape, narrowly avoiding the explosion as it detonates. After narrowly escaping the explosion, the soldiers go for a medical examination, despite Galena's initial reluctance. The examination reveals that they only have minor scratches and no serious injuries. Galena approaches an IT specialist and asks if they have any files on the dead zone or a list of forward operating bases, FBOs, left behind after the war. The IT specialist checks and finds limited information, explaining that most outposts were dismantled or destroyed when troops pulled out. However, he discovers a file labeled under locations as a dead zone, noting that it was likely a hot extraction point since it appears people left in a hurry. This realization strikes Galena as the perfect hiding place, right in plain sight. Galena then takes this information to Commander Briscoe, explaining that the dead zone was not just a war zone, but also the name of an FBO used during the war. She believes the terrorists are using it as their operations base, based on clues from the Supreme Leader's video. The video had been filled with specific and arrogant statements, hinting at their location. Galena reasons that the middle-of-nowhere location with ample room to move around is ideal for hiding and suggests it's the place they're looking for. Briscoe is initially cautious, but acknowledges the logic in Galena's argument. He decides to get a closer look, calling for Jacques and Shu to prepare for further investigation. This marks a pivotal moment as the team shifts from being reactive to taking a proactive stance, determined to uncover and disrupt the terrorists' operations. Jacques and Shu went to the area to investigate. They went back to the base and told James what they saw. The Supreme Leader and his subordinate discuss their readiness. The subordinate confirms that the list is complete, the men have their orders, and the trucks will be on their way by sundown tomorrow. Reflecting on their journey, the subordinate speaks of their mission's beginnings and the hardships they endured, emphasizing their resolve and the West's failure to understand their cause. They acknowledge the historical impact of their actions and the loyalty and bravery that have defined their fight. The Supreme Leader plans one final live address to rally their people, despite concerns about the opposing team. He wants the people to hear and see their accomplishments, inspiring them to rise without fear. The subordinate praises the Supreme Leader's leadership, stating that he has united their forces and given them a reason to fight. The Supreme Leader insists that belief in their idea, stronger than any weapon or military, is paramount. They recognize that the opposing team is hunting them, but they remain confident, believing the team's lack of true conviction will lead to their failure. The Supreme Leader orders round-the-clock guard on the base, reinforcing their determination to succeed. The Supreme Leader goes live to make a final speech, addressing their lands. He declares the need to finish what they started together and emphasizes that this war ends now. His followers assure him of their readiness and determination, committing to await his presence and make no mistakes in their final push for victory. The soldiers also show their readiness to Briscoe. Commander Briscoe informs the president that the terrorists are using a forward base of operations, FBO, in the dead zone, previously deserted after the war. The tunnels were a distraction, and the terrorists possess sarin bombs. The president emphasizes that securing the FBO is crucial, and failure is not an option. He orders Predator drones to the area, ready to use Hellfire missiles if necessary. Briscoe assures him that his men can handle the situation. Both express determination to complete the mission successfully. The soldiers head to the target area. Galena scans the area with a sniper, while Shu sneaks up on a guard. As Shu gets close, Galena shoots the guard, allowing Shu to take his uniform and disguise himself. Galena then shoots another guard in a tower. Daniel gives orders. Once Shu clears the path, they will move. Jacques is assigned to cover the wall with Daniel, while Ralph and James will enter through the front door. After confirming everyone's readiness, Daniel leads the team into action. Shu gets caught by a terrorist and is forced to kill him. However, the terrorist fires his gun before dying, alerting the others. The terrorists realize they are under attack. Daniel starts to experience PTSD from past encounters, but James encourages him to continue. Daniel overcomes his hesitation and joins the soldiers in an intense firefight. They blow the gate and advance. Briscoe informs them that the Supreme Leader is in the lab, prompting Daniel to head there. As Daniel descends the stairs, the Supreme Leader begins firing at him. The Supreme Leader taunts Daniel, asserting that their conflict will end his way. He insists that ideas are stronger than any bomb or war, and even if he is stopped, someone else will continue his cause. Daniel responds resolutely, "How about I stop you today and we'll deal with tomorrow?" While the other soldiers continue to fight fiercely outside, the Supreme Leader sneaks up behind Daniel, forcing him to drop his gun. The Supreme Leader taunts Daniel, comparing their honor loyalty, and missions. He calls Daniel weak and orders him to discard his rifle as well. Daniel, frustrated, retorts that he only finds himself in such situations with the Supreme Leader. A hand-to-hand fight ensues between them. Meanwhile, in the lab, the Supreme Leader's subordinate is working when Jacques arrives and attacks him. Jacques then drops a grenade and quickly exits. The lab explodes, killing the subordinate and dealing a significant blow to the terrorist operations. After a fierce struggle, Daniel gains the upper hand and shoots the Supreme Leader, ending his threat. Concurrently, the other soldiers, with Briscoe's coordination, remotely blow up the truck carrying the terrorists' explosives. With the battle finally over, the soldiers walk in victory. Back at their base, they report to Briscoe, who thanks them for their bravery. The soldiers begin to pack up and bid farewell to each other. They gather one last time as Briscoe says goodbye. The movie concludes with all of them boarding a helicopter, leaving the battlefield behind. And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our video. Watch the next recaps on the screen and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing recaps. See you in the next one.